I've been a 911 dispatcher a little over 2.5 years. I take 911 calls, which is my main job, what we got hired for. And I also train call takers, new call takers, so that to get them to where they can take calls and do what they need to do. Get them trained up so that they get right before they get released, so that we know that they're accurate in what they're doing. And then I do NCIC, which is where we run the subjects and stuff on the officers' tickets, like when they make a stop to see if they have warrants, criminal history, things like that. We also enter protection orders and just different court stuff we do, and citations, tickets, clearing those out, stuff like that. There's a lot of calls that are not emergency. We have different things. I've had people call and ask me for directions, what time something's supposed to come on, things like that. There's many different calls, and a lot of them start with, this is not an emergency. If you dial 911, there's certain things that we're gonna ask. So we ask that you know your location, or if you don't know the specifics, give us marks. Give us like the store or some kind of marker that we can use to locate you. Also a phone number in case we got to call you back, and we need directions, or being able to find you is the big thing. We want you to be able to verify your location, your phone number, and what you're calling about. We try to get specifics, like when a 911 call taker is taking your information, if they cut you off, it's not being rude or anything like that. It's certain information we got to get in a certain amount of time, because you got to remember we have officers or paramedics. If it's a med call heading to you, there's certain information they need right off the bat that we try to get, and then later we'll get the back end of the story or what's going on. We deal with many things at 911, and a lot of it is going to be, even though we have those calls that are not so serious, we have the calls that are, and you have to learn how to deal with that. Calls dealing with children are hard for me, depending on the call. Not all calls with children, but depending on the call, because I have kids and it touches me. That's the kind of calls that touch me in a different way. And I had a call one time where I had a kid whose mom had fixed him something to eat, and his food was too hot. So he asked if he could go back and sit on the couch and watch TV until it cooled off a little bit, and she told him yes. And right after he went and sat on the couch, they were in an apartment complex, and the neighbor next to them, in the apartment next to them, he was cleaning his firearm, and it went off, and it had shot right through the wall, right where the kid had been sitting at the dinner table. When you do this job, you learn real quick that you have to let stuff roll off your back. You can't be so sensitive to everything, because you have way too much coming in. We play a lot and stuff so that we can, get rid of that stress. You have to be able to joke down here and not be so serious all the time. There's a time to be serious, of course, but we try to relax and joke. And then when I go home, family time, stuff like that helps me. I leave work at work, and I go and have time with my family and relax and not think about it, and come back the next day and start all over again. Plano 911, what is the address of the emergency?